In today's video, I'm tackling a job I should have done this spring. I have a raised garden bed that was not retaining moisture. I would water things in this bed and the water would just pour right through. So I didn't have a very successful planting in this bed this past spring and summer. So today I'm removing the soil and I'm going to put a barrier down in this raised bed. So hopefully next spring when I plant, I have retention in the soil of moisture and I don't have to water so often. And I'll have more success with what I've planted. At the end of today's video, I want to talk about grass clippings and the proper way to add them to your compost pile. So stick around. Well, and welcome to my channel. If you haven't been here before, I hope you will like and subscribe. You know, my channel doesn't really have a niche, and everyone tells me if you're going to have a YouTube channel, you need to niche down and be about one thing. But I guess I should change the name of my channel from Kelly Ready to Kelly Random because my videos typically are just about things I enjoy and what's going on in my life. So I hope you will subscribe and follow along, and maybe some of my interest will be things that interest you, and you'll want to subscribe and hit that notification bell and watch my videos. It'll certainly help my channel grow. Now, to today's video. I bought these two green metal garden beds at Walmart on the clearance aisle for 25 bucks. I've had them for several years. But what the problem is, they do not retain moisture. Even though they have a bottom in them and they have this little mesh carrier in them, the water would still just pour out the bottom. When I would water these beds, both of them, especially this one today that I'm taking the soil out, the water would just pour right through it. So I just didn't have good luck growing anything in this metal box this past spring and summer. But now that it's fall, I'm going to take all the soil out and I'm going to use some old vinyl peel and stick tiles to line the bottom of this box. Now, I know you're probably saying, oh, you've got to have good drainage. That's not going to be good drainage. Well, I think there'll still be enough little cracks and openings that will have good drainage. You know, and I'm not going to take the paper backing off the peel and stick, so I'm not going to stick them down. I'm just going to strategically lay them in the bottom to hopefully retain some water and keep these beds moist next year. These metal planter boxes are very popular. Thousands of this planter box have been sold. And planter boxes like this kind of planter box are very popular. If you have one of these type of planter boxes, comment down below and let me know how well your box is retaining moisture without modifying what they gave you when you bought it. I wonder if because it's made of metal, it doesn't retain moisture as well because, you know, metal gets so hot, it retains heat. And I wonder if there's a lot more evaporation in these metal boxes than in a wooden boxes. Comment down below if you have a theory about that. Well, I'm going to get busy and remove the soil out of this box. Now, I'm saving my soil. I don't want to have to go out and buy new soil. Soil's so expensive. So I'm putting my soil in a little tote, one of those big blue Rubbermaid totes, and I'm just going to save my soil. And once I get it all out, I'll strategically put those vinyl peel and stick tiles, but not take the paper backing and not stick them down, but just lay them in the bottom of my box, and then I'll refill my box with the soil I already have. As I'm refilling my box with my soil, you'll notice I'm putting in some sticks, some large sticks that were in the bottom of the box last time. I learned this trick from Justin Rhodes' videos. I saw that when he had some large boxes, he actually put logs. He had to use his tractor to put logs in the bottom of his boxes. And I thought, what a great idea to save money on potting soil and gardening soil, to put those sticks in the bottom of your box. If you haven't seen my video on composting, I hope you'll check that out. But I'm going over to my compost pile and I'm going to bring over some compost and put on the top of this bed to go ahead and top it off. Now, I know the compost is not really ready yet, but it can compost in this garden box just like it could compost in my compost pile. Because I'm not going to use this garden bed or plant anything in this garden bed until next spring. So it'll have time to break down before I start planting in it. I want to point out a mistake I made when I added grass clippings to my compost pile. Now, grass clippings are important. You do need green matter to mix with your brown matter in your compost pile. But don't add those grass clippings the same day that you cut the grass. At least not if you're adding a lot of clippings all at once. I think it would be better to lay a tarp on the ground and spread those grass clippings out on the ground and let them dry, then add them to the compost pile to avoid getting these little clumps of grass clippings that almost look like little cow patties. And if you'll see in the video, I'm finding those little grass clumps and I'm taking my hands and I'm breaking them up. So to avoid that problem, I do recommend you let your grass clippings dry out a little bit before you add them to your compost pile. If you have a metal or any kind of raised bed that is not retaining moisture, this is the time to go in and redo it. Maybe put some kind of barrier down in your garden bed so that it will retain moisture. And also remember, if you're using grass clippings in your compost pile, make sure they're dry before you add them to the pile. Well, those are my tips for the day of my garden. I hope it helped you. Comment down below and let me know what you're doing this fall in your garden. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's video.